Welcome back to another edition of In the Trenches with Doug Skene, Michigan's former All-Big Ten offensive lineman. This is Michigan versus Rutgers, and Skene, first play. Man, this looked good. The first drive, you talk about, 7, 8 running plays in a row. Looked like it was going to be methodical. Tell us what happens on this play. I see a little belt buckle action here by the right guard, Zach Zinner, at the end.
Yeah, this is a nice way to start the football game, Balas. Exactly what we thought. We're going to down block with our right tackle, right guard, and the front side tight end there, Schoonmaker. And we're going to pull the center around to come up and get the front side linebacker. Now, Bastardas is not all that clean getting to that front side linebacker. He's a little wide, so that's going to absorb Eric All to have to take care of him. But the interior blocking is so good from the right tackle, right guard especially. We washed this whole thing down in here really, really well, including Schoonmaker. We get to the backside linebacker with Schoonmaker. And so this thing looks really nice. Zinter here gets a hold of what I thought was their best defensive lineman until he got thrown out of the game and rides him all the way into the ground. Nice knockdown block there on the opening play. You crack off 7, 8 yards on 1st and 10. This is exactly what Michigan was been doing all year and doing it very, very well. And this is a great start to the game.
Play number 2, Skene, 13:52 of the first. I like this run. First of all, I like that Hassan Haskins gets about 4 or 5 extra yards after the first contact just about every time. But helmet sticker blocks here across the board. I want you to watch Zach Zinner put his guy on his ass. I want you to watch Luke Schoonmaker's block. And Ryan Hayes really gets some good push here.
Yeah, great push here out of the left tackle. Again, Michigan's blocking principles this year. We're going to down or gap block with some guys, and we're going to pull somebody else. In this case, Eric All, Schoonmaker, left tackle, all down blocking. Bastardas is blocking back to his offensive right, and we're pulling the front side guard here, Keegan, and backside guard here, Zinter. Keegan's coming for the first man end of line, in this case, number 21. He's a little deep, so we don't quite get to that inside number, but still effective. That's a physical mismatch there, Keegan versus this little guy, number 21. But a really nice block here by Zinter, who comes around and finds this defender right here and puts him absolutely on his back and finishes with, on top of him. That's always fun. Helmet sticker. But this thing starts to go because you look at your left tackle and the push he gets off the line of scrimmage. The tight ends do a nice job here of sealing this thing inside. Haskins has got all kinds of room to run, and this is a 10-yard gain. This is what we were used to and looked so well until something changed after halftime.
11:14 of the first now, and this is interesting, a 3rd and long, and they've done this a few times here. They go to the running well, and the twist here is that you get zone blocking scheme. It looks like you've got the tight end coming back across the formation, but then you throw zone blocking at them. Explain that a little bit, and the nice cut here that Corum makes in finding the hole.
So the difference between zone blocking and gap or man blocking is you're blocking an area. And Michigan has shown over and over that 90% of their stuff has been gap or man. You're blocking specific defenders. When you zone block, you block whoever shows up in your assigned area. And when in this defensive front, before the ball is snapped, you can see they've got both linebackers walked up. You got 6 guys at the line of scrimmage. They could very well twist, turn. You don't know what they're going to do. The best way to block twisting and turning and stunting guys is to zone block them. So Michigan's entire offensive line here moves to their offensive left with their first step. The only twist here is they're bringing Eric All across the formation to go block what would normally be the read man at the top of the screen. Normally he'd be unblocked, but because of the action, you can see the linebacker number 3 is following the flow to his defensive left, our offensive right. Corum has a nice seam here on the left side because Zinter and the right tackle Stuber do a really nice job on this defensive lineman, getting him locked up. Number 3 makes the tackle, but he's 7, 8, 9, 12 yards downfield. Zone blocking works is a nice little curveball for the Michigan offense here, and it works very, very effectively because of the interior push and the backside block with Zinter there is really nice.
Doing a really nice job firing off the ball here in the first quarter.
Sure did.
Okay, play number 4 at, 7:14, Skene?
7:18 of the first quarter.
7:18 of the first quarter. This is the touchdown. I want you to watch the end zone copy from behind the Skycam copy and look at the job the left side of the line does here. Hassan Haskins, I'll tell you, Skene, you could have gotten the ball and scored on this one. Jones gets a little nice push here. Looks a little high to me, but explain to me why this is a good block.
So the key block here in my mind is look at Tronte Jones over here at left tight end. He's a backup offensive lineman, but he comes in at tight end. If you look at his feet, where his feet start before the snap, his feet are behind the 1 yard marker. But when his block ends and the ball creases the goal line for the touchdown, his feet are at or near or in the end zone. He got a yard worth of push. The rest of this stuff is pretty simple. You're down blocking with left tackle. Left guard is pulling to block this unblocked man at the end of line here. So you're down block with Jones, down block with Hayes, pull the left guard, get to the edge, inside out. That pulling guard Keegan here has got to get to the inside armpit. That creates the crease, and you're ISO blocking basically with your tight end here all, and the backside is all just cut off. Keep them from moving. Cut them at the line. And Haskins walks in here. That's really good execution. But if your front side blocking isn't clean, like with Jones and Hayes there, it gets stuffed. But that was done really, really well. And so that's a great example of short yardage and goal line with that play. And they've done that well. And it'd be nice to see more of that in short yardage and goal line.
14:52 now of the second. This is a touchdown here. Watch the job that the left side of the line does here. So the combo block here, Skene, and then I want you to watch Schoonmaker's block and opening up the gap here for Hassan Haskins.
So the target here is the left C gap right off your first tight end here, Honingford, and left tackle Hayes. Those two do an outstanding job of down lineman to front side linebacker combo block. They get great movement. That front side linebacker gets caught up in the wash when his defensive tackle is delivered into his lap. He's no room to work. And this play works very well, very, very well because of those two. And Schoonmaker's position block here. Take away the inside lane, turn that guy's shoulders, get your butt in the hole, and we have all kinds of room to walk in here. Everything on the right side of this offensive line is just backside cutoff. Don't let anybody in here. The one criticism I would say, I don't like Keegan's guy in our backfield here, our left guard. Although the guy does not get into play, our left guard, he's standing a yard into our backfield. I'm never a fan of that, so we've got to do a better job in our gap down inside blocking. And then the other thing here, Wilson is kind of funny, Balas. Wilson goes in motion here like he's going to come get somebody on the front side and comes around the corner here and touches the white jersey. That's borderline $5, Balas. That one there is borderline. You're kind of watching football. It's kind of fun, but, it's one of those film room things. I'm not busting on the kid, but when these guys are watching film after a victory, usually you point something out here and you kind of laugh and chuckle, and it's a way of getting better at the same time. So, that's what I mean by that. But this is really well blocked in the front side with those two tight ends and that left tackle, and that's why this thing's an easy walk-in.
Okay, 4:57 of the second. Now we're going to get some negative plays here. They make an adjustment, Rutgers does here. It's subtle, but it's noticeable, and that's when it's the beginning of the end for the Michigan running game here. Andrew Vistardis at center. Watch what happens here. Explain to us what's going on, Skene.
So, Balas, one of the adjustments I noticed Rutgers did here is instead of taking straight up on double teams of Michigan and the gap blocking that we'd done very effectively through the first part of this football game, Rutgers started looping and jumping gaps with their defensive linemen to try to take those double teams and turn them into good angle single blocks for Rutgers. And here's a great example of this, and this one is about as good as it gets for Rutgers if you're a Rutgers fan. The guy playing over Andrew Vistardis' right shoulder in our offensive right A gap is number 50. He loops all the way around to the backside of Vistardis, to the backside A gap, and he's standing in our backfield unblocked. Now, this is a great example of a defensive lineman taking advantage of an offensive lineman who gets out over his toes. Vistardis just whiffs here, and he's laying on the ground. That's not good. But in addition to that, you can see the rest of the Rutgers defensive line, they're playing lower, and they're finding ways to neutralize Michigan's gap schemes and double teams. And then in addition to that, our wide receivers are having a hard time getting open against man coverage. So their safeties are walking up. And I swear to God, number 0 was in on tackles all in the second half because he had no pass coverage to worry about. They were running downhill from deep in their secondary, and they're jumping gaps, and they're slanting, and that makes it hard for gap schemes because now instead of an expected double team, you're one-on-one blocking, and you've got a bad angle if you're the guy coming down inside, and you don't have a good hip or shoulder from your line mate. So Rutgers made a good adjustment, and it paid dividends for them in the second half.
Okay, play 7, I believe this is 22 seconds of the second quarter. Nice big play here and sets up a field goal. But this is one of those twists that you and I have talked about that we've seen from Wisconsin Skene all the time the last couple of outings, last 3 years probably, or the last 3 times they've played. That's going to be a problem if they can't handle it better than this.
Here we go, Balas. There's not a whole lot of time left. 1st and 10. Rutgers is showing blitz. The linebackers are walked up, but what's going to happen is these linebackers are going to bail. In this stand-up defensive end over our left tackle and the defensive tackle over the left outside eye of our left guard here, Keegan, are both going to slant to their inside to cross each of those guys' face. And the guy who's playing over Vistardis, the center, the right A-gap defender, is going to loop around these guys all the way and come clean, because we do not flatten off these two first stunters, the defensive end or the outside linebacker and this defensive tackle. We don't flatten that off. Hayes has got to flatten that guy off. It needs to be passed off to Keegan. Keegan's out of position here. We do not pass this off very well on the front side, which allows number 50 to come around the corner here and deliver a blow on our quarterback. Now, I know it was a great play for Michigan, and McNamara, with a defensive lineman in his face, delivered a great football for a big gain. But my concern about this is a simple twist. There's nothing magical about this. It's an end tackle nose twist. That's pretty common in college football, even high school football. You cannot let somebody come in here and drill your quarterback. Now, this kid gets thrown out of this game for targeting, which I think was a crap call. I don't like it at all, and I hate to see guys get thrown out of football games. But the bigger problem is a simple twist has got to be picked up. And you're absolutely right, Balas. We're going to see that Saturday afternoon in Wisconsin, because when there's blood in the water, defensive coordinators see that, and they're going to run it until you prove you can stop it.
Play number 8, Mike Hart was talking on Monday night about one guy here, one guy there not doing his job. I thought the starters here and Zach Zinner did a great job with their blocks and on the 2nd and 3 play. But you're right, your left guard has got to be better than this, and your left tackle's got to attack a little bit more here, because it's the linebacker all the way at the bottom of the screen there that makes the play, Skene, and that should never happen.
Yeah, so let's start with the good stuff here, Balas. Tight end here, Schoonmaker and Stuber are going to combo block defensive end to front side linebacker. Right guard Zinter and Vistardis are going to combo block down lineman to backside linebacker. Both of those blocks are clean. We get a nice pass over by Zinter, get a nice shoulder in the soft area, knocks that guy right over into Vistardis, who takes care of him, and we get up to the backside linebacker. Stuber and Schoonmaker have got something nice going here. Get into this front side linebacker. That's good stuff. But this play gets blown up here because our left guard is absolutely getting stoned, stood up, and going nowhere. So that causes a front side problem. You can see the Corum kind of breaks to his left. It's like he wants to go there, but there's nowhere to go because we got no push at left guard. And the other thing I don't understand here out of our left tackle, if your assignment is to go attack 58 and you're going to go attack the inside number, then you need to get out of your stance and go. It's like Hayes is sort of easing out of his stance here. I don't know what he's delaying for, but because our left guard is getting stood up, Hayes has no room to get to an inside number. He gets knocked off. And that 58 comes around here and just swallows Corum alive and basically throws him backwards. This is the kind of thing that wasn't a problem in the first half. And the positive plays we looked at, we were clean, we were blocking. Now we're too high, we're getting pushed around, and it only got worse here in the third quarter of this football game.
Play 9. This is 5:09 of the third. Very next play. Get low, guys, and block somebody. Short yardage has not been good this year. At times it's been okay. But this is just hat on a hat stuff here, isn't it? Skene got to get lower than the next guy, and you look at both your guards here, not getting the job done.
Yeah, so Balas, it's 3rd and 1. Look at Michigan's offensive set. We got an extra offensive tackle playing the left tight end. You got both of your other tight ends on the right side, and you've got basically an extra and one more tight end in here with Eric All in the backfield. This is power football. Hey, it's 3rd and 1, everybody. We're coming straight at you. This is a different atmosphere in between these tackles, even though you're midfield, short yardage and goal line is different than 1st and 10 at the 42. It just is. And on the previous play, our left guard got blown up and stuffed by number 58. And the same thing happens here on 3rd and 1. We just get beat at the point of attack because our left guard is too tall. Our center is trying to move to his offensive left and get up to a front side linebacker. He whiffs. Our right guard doesn't get an effective block on number 45, I think it is in the middle, or 95. We're going backwards there. So at the point of attack, we've got no movement and or guys whiffing on blocks. Over here at the left edge, our front side, the left tackle, we're moving outside, and number 2 here for Rutgers comes in inside off of our left B gap, unblocked. Balas, this is a collective mess. And it is official that Michigan's short yardage and goal line offense is not all that great. Because of this, you have to be lower. It's a different game like this. And you cannot afford mistakes. You cannot afford technique mistakes. You got to be clean. Otherwise, you're never going to get short yardage and goal line first downs or touchdowns. Now, never is a big word there because they looked good doing some of these things earlier, but it's not consistent enough. And this is one example of how Michigan had better clean this up because there's going to be a lot of short yardage and goal lines yet to come.
And another reason why Chuck Filiaga is still working in there at left guard because Trevor Keegan a little bit inconsistent on Saturday.
Well, that's a fair assessment, and the last 2 plays are evidence of that.
Okay, 13:56. This will be our last play in Skene. Another red flag here. This is the same twist, opposite side, I believe. And again, Wisconsin's going to have a field day because this is what they do all the time if they don't clean this up.
So, Balas, same pass twist out of Rutgers here. The guy who's on over Andrew Vastardis is our center. Our right shoulder, our right A-gap is going to cross his face. And the guy who's playing over the outside eye of our right guard here is going to cross his face. The key to blocking these twists is you have to flatten these guys off, and you cannot let that guy get to your line mates inside hip. So Vastardis does a decent job of passing this off to his left guard here, Filiaga. But Vastardis, as soon as he passes that off, he's got to get his right hip and shoulder back to expect something coming to his inside hip. And this is where the trouble starts. Zinter does not get number 26 flattened off. Zinter allows him to get between him and Vastardis. And when the looper comes around, who started off over our left guard's outside shoulder, it's too late. It's over with. Zinter is the one who's got to do a better job here of smashing this thing flat. Vastardis has got to help himself by looking faster. When that guy loops, when he sees that color of the looper coming around, he's got to prepare the right side of his body to get back in position. And Zinter's got to do a better job of helping him here. But because we don't block it clean between those two, our quarterback is flushed out of the pocket. We have no chance on a 3rd and long. And the best we can do is scramble to get a few yards. That's 2 times in the same game with the same simple inside twist that we failed at picking up. I'm telling you, Balas, that's got to be fixed because you're going to see it. Wisconsin and anybody we play after that, the more you let twists work, the more you're going to see them. So I guarantee you Michigan's working on that stuff this week.